Let's see if James is on. James, come on, James. Oh, there he is. James Allara.
Hi.
Dude, and Pam.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alex. Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm so excited you guys are here. I'm going to pin your mugs. There you go. Yay. This is my New York buddy, my brother from another mother, man. This dude, I love James because he just like straight shooter, man. There's no BS with James. He'll tell you what's up. And now he's like in Arizona, enjoying the beautiful Arizona, you know. But his engine behind what he does is Pam. So when he asked if Pam could come on, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love for Pam to be on. So James, man, I love seeing your production. I love what you did on, in fact, let me share it just to set it up properly. He posted on the NAA Facebook. I love this. And there's more pictures underneath here. I just got the, but he says, this week, Pam and I, and this is what I love about James. Pam is part of his business. They are like, you know, it's not 1 + 1 is 2. It's 1 + 1 = 11. They're just so in it together. And he says, Pam and I had $1,100 lead investment between NAA, Mail Pro leads, other internet leads, and also did quite a bit of current client reviews and referrals. 429 dials, 52 contacts, 41 appointments. Dude, that is a high booking ratio. Sat 26, 18 apps, 17,390. And man, so that's what, and dude, I was thinking about you even before you sent this. Like, man, I got to get James on here because they got to hear from Jared Gonzalez last week, Jeremy Patton last week, Mike Barisi on Saturday. I thought, we're on a roll, baby. So
Nice.
Let's get James up on here. So anyway, dude, I just want you to give it to him straight. I know we have till like 11 o'clock or noon our time, and you got production to run. So give us a little bit about your story. How did you find the Alliance? How did the Alliance find you? And tell us about your story getting started.
Well, Pam and I owned a couple of furniture stores back in the day. And then when 2008, 2009 started to happen with the bubble bursting, we were forced to close down the stores. And Pam went to work for corporate America. And then I kind of piddled around figuring out what I was going to do. One of my friends suggested I get into the insurance industry a couple of years later because we didn't have a boss. And he was like, this is perfect for you because you won't have to have somebody telling you what to do. So that's kind of a big deal for us New Yorkers that nobody tells us what to do.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, Pam was working for GoDaddy, and I filled out, I actually answered an ad for one of the big insurance brokerage firms that you're a captive agent. And they sponsored me for all my licensing. And then I had to pass 5 tests and get 5 licenses for commercial, property, casualty, like everything, because they wanted me to have all of the licenses. And then,
wow.
Yeah, that was interesting. It took me 6 months to get all my licenses. And then when I showed up my first day in the office, they asked me for a check for $1,000. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, you have to pay to chip in for, you know, the office and the supplies and the secretary. And I was like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, this is my first day. I haven't even made a penny yet. You want me to pay you? So that didn't last. That lasted all of 10 minutes. And then I walked out and I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? And so I just started throwing my resume on Indeed. And I scheduled an interview with 2 people from NAA. Actually, it was Kevin Woolley and Joe Dukes, both scheduled interviews with me. Kevin Woolley never called me, but Joe Dukes did. And then one thing led to another. And then I saw an opportunity meeting. It was actually Paul Epstein. And we, you know, he was so straightforward with me. And he was like, you know, it's basically you decide what you want to do, kind of like network marketing. And I had some background with Amway and other multi-level marketing companies. And so I was like, this is kind of cool. It's like Amway, except with insurance. And then I said to Joe, you know, like, where did this premise come from? And he was like, Andy, all right, baby. And so I actually got on the phone with Andy, and the best advice he gave me was just concentrate on the work. And so that's kind of what I did. And in the beginning, it was a bit of a struggle for me. And Pam was still working for corporate America. And then, you know, Joe Duke said to me, do you want to start following the system, or do you want to try to keep doing it your own way? And I said, I want to make money. And he was like, okay, well, you have to follow the system. If you want to make money, you got to do it the way everybody else is doing it. And so I conformed to the system and concentrated on the effort. And then within 6 months, we were making enough money that Pam was able to quit her job at GoDaddy. And that was 2015, I think, something like that. It's about 5 years now, maybe 6 years now. So anyway, so that's basically what we do now, is we just concentrate on the effort. You know, Andy has mentioned over and over and over again that you really can't control the results. All you can control is what you put into it. And that's what we do. I mean, Pam sets my appointments as far as the on the phones. And then we both do door knocks. She'll go out a whole day while I'm in the field and door knock if she can't get people on the phone. And I do door knocks in between appointments if we get one of those no-shows. So it's a little bit of everything. And so, I mean, that would be the best advice that I would, you know, straightforwardly pass on to your team members, is concentrate on the effort, and you have to do a little bit of everything. You can't just dial, because people aren't going to answer the phones. And there's nothing you can do if someone doesn't pick up the phone. So you have to get in your car and drive to their house. And we do that. And we do, you know, as many dials as we can, and we do as many door knocks as we can, and we call current clients, and we concentrate on the effort, and the results kind of speak for themselves.
And don't quit.
And don't quit.
Don't give up. You know, just keep going.
So Pam, whenever like you were struggling getting started, like everyone does, they're wondering, oh, is this ever going to work? Or what kept you in? What kept you guys still hammering it, even though maybe the results weren't there yet?
Well, it really came down to, this is what we wanted to do. This is the lifestyle that we wanted to create. This was the future that we wanted to create for our family. And this was our job at that point. This was our job. And my job was to book appointments, and I had to do it, or there wasn't going to be any food on the table, or the mortgage wasn't going to get paid, or the car was going to disappear one night. I mean, it was just that simple. I mean, we had to do it. And I went and worked horrible hours and was told what to do for 40 hours a week for someone else to make money. So why wouldn't I work 40 hours and tell myself what to do and do the horrible thing that I have to do to make us money? And that's really what it came to. And that's what we tell ourselves whenever we have a bad week or a bad dial session. I'm like, okay, do I want to go back and sit in a cubicle and have someone tell me what to do? And I'm like, no, okay, get back on the phone.
That's right.
And that's really all it is. Like, do I want to make somebody else a millionaire, or do I want to make myself a millionaire, or my family millionaires? And that's all it comes down to. And it's just one more dial, just one more appointment, just one more app. And that's how we just eat the elephant, just one bite at a time, one more dial.
I love it. Now, you guys, what part of New York are you guys from? Upstate? Or are you from the city, or where are you from?
We were both born in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cities.
All right.
And then,
We tried Manhattan for a little while. I tried upstate for a little while, like not really upstate, like Westchester County.
Yeah, Westchester. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we left after 9/11. That was like
Wow.
that was the end of things for us. We were like, it's time to leave. If they're going to be blowing up our buildings, we're going to get out of here. So,
well, you picked a nice area, man, in Arizona, the Phoenix area.
we love it here.
That's great. So, okay, so James, you weren't a young spring chicken when you got in this thing. You know what? You had owned your own business. You probably are used to being in control. And And you basically said it, but I've got people that are older that come into the business and they're sort of set in their ways. Was it really as simple as Joe Duke's telling you, dude, you plug into the system or else you're going to die? I mean, was it that simple for you to?
Not really. No, there was more to it. You have to make a decision first that you're going to do what it takes to get the results that you're after. And, and it started with the decision, and then, from there, it became a matter of swallowing my pride and asking for help. And then from there, it was getting the help that was required from the leaders on our team. Joe, Paul Epstein, Mike and Noel, even Andy, all poured into us, and they were like, it's easy to do if you concentrate on the effort.
I think a lot of it too was he brought me after a couple of months, because I was just like, all right, like he'd already had a hobby. He already had a hobby shop. He had another business. He had like all these things going on. And I was like, all right, whatever, just do your thing. I'm making money. Like figure out what you're going to do with your life. And I'll just keep, taking care of things. And then I wasn't really serious about the whole thing. And then he took me to a hot spot and I met Noelle. And she said, oh, well, we're going on this Mediterranean cruise and you can too. And I was like, we can? What's this about? And she's like, all you need to do is write 100,000. And this was like in maybe
2015,
May
Yeah.
or June. It was in June.
It was 6 months into the year.
And I was like, okay. And I looked at James. I'm like, how much have you written so far? And he was like,
$5.
And I was like, dude, we're going on this all expense paid trip with these people. I'm like, you were going to make it happen. And then we drove to Vegas to meet Andy. And then I think that was really,
that changed a lot.
That changed everything, meeting Andy, being around the leaders and just getting plugged in. But I think for James now having me saying, we're going, let's do it. Like we're going to Europe. We're going on this trip. We're going to have a blast. And he did. He just buckled down. He did. He was on the phone. He was calling from the home. He was checking in at the end of the day. I was talking to Joe when I started dialing. If I didn't book after 3, I was calling Joseph. I was calling Mike and Noelle. I was reaching out to other people on the team who were being successful. And we just, made that decision. And it really was, James. I mean, it's 100% James, because no, we would not be here. As stubborn as he is, his
me, Alex, I'd rather be watching football.
I know, dude. I know.
Pam says, get your ass off the couch and go and help families.
Well, I just booked the appointments and he goes. So.
I love it. How long have you guys been married?
It's coming up 19 years in August.
Next year will be 20 years.
Yep.
20 years. That's so awesome. I can tell you guys are a piece of that same pod, man. You guys are like perfect for each other. That's
we work well. And now we've got our daughter working for us also.
Oh, really? How old is she?
She's 16. So she does filing, and she's also calling and booking interviews for me.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Nice to have. She does.
She's always trying to figure out a way to make more money. That's her thing, is she wants this new outfit. She wants to go out with her friends. And so she knows, like, she's already, geared to, she can go get her license and make in like one day what all of her friends are going to have to work 2 weeks to make.
That's right.
So she's already determined to have the best wardrobe when she gets to college.
Hey, I'm serious, man. It's whatever motivation you can give them. But probably the best thing you guys did was give them an example of going after something you want, and it's not going to be given to you. You've got to work for it. She's got the best example in front of her, and she is getting into that mentality. I love it. That's
Yeah,
good
she's
stuff.
definitely
And she's
following the
trying to
system.
hire all her friends who are 18. So I told her she'll get hiring bonuses if she hires people. So now she's talking to all her friends, older siblings and parents and stuff. It's funny how it's spiraling.
You raised yourself a sales girl right there.
There you go.
And
That's what-
golly, I can't be more proud of y'all that you're passing it on to the next generation. You're a great example of together. I mean, like you are a team. So let's get down to the boring numbers, because all the stuff we talked about so far is really what matters. But some of the nerdy people out there, what is your appointment goal per week when you sit down and when you guys get together? It's like, okay, this is how many appointments we really shoot for every week to book.
We shoot for 40.
Okay.
We made a commitment to, to try to reach that goal every week, but we're doing some over the phone, but most of them are in person. So we have probably like 25 in person and 15 are either virtual or over the phone.
Okay, great. So you're like the first people we've interviewed that does a combination of telesales and in-home sales. So just kind of my impression is that it's easier to sell in the home than over the phone. Is that a true statement for you guys?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you opt to do it over the phone, what causes you to have to sell them over the phone?
People
Well,
don't want to meet with us.
Yeah, so there's
Okay.
two reasons. Like one is someone's just like, well, can't you just, if it's an internet lead, I found that a lot of them are just like, well, just tell me how much it is right now and I'll just get it. And I'm like, okay, I'll help you right now. So I just help them right then. And then if they are leery about having someone in the house because they're older or, whatever health reasons, then I'll set up a Zoom session or just a phone, depending, a lot of the older people don't have Zoom or they don't get it. So he'll just call them. And that's what prompts it. Like, I cannot get them to let somebody in the house. I try he'll just be in the driveway. You can just wave from the door and they're like, no, we don't want him, mushing his way in the
Right.
in the house. So
Okay, that's great. I mean, this is I like the balance because I've shown people that do a majority in home, but you have a really nice balance of being able to do both. Now, I've always felt that the Zoom call, because I've done Zoom sales before, that at least you can see them on video, which to me is like the next best thing to being there. You get to look at them, they get to look at you. Is that your sense too, that if you had the choice between just on the phone or a internet where you can see them, don't you think it's better to actually see them? Does that help?
Yes, definitely. You pretty much, you shoot, there's like a kind of tiers, and Pam and I, we have a system of the levels. Like the first, we shoot for in-home or in face-to-face, and then the second is Zoom. So like a virtual appointment so we can see each other. And then if they say they don't have it or they don't know how to work it, or we'll try to explain it to them. And if there's like, no, just call me on the phone. And then that would be like the last resort is over the phone. But 100% agree with you that being able to see them on a Zoom call is definitely a lot more beneficial because it's easier to build a relationship with someone that you're having vision with, like eye contact with, and
Yeah.
be able to see them in person.
and then the sit ratio is much higher for in-home than for telesales.
Right, and Zoom.
And then, and Zoom. And then you take that, so now, you're booking, sitting maybe 25% of your phone Zoom calls
And more like 80% of your in person.
And then if you're closing, maybe a quarter of those, would you say, James, of the phones?
Yeah, it's about a 25%, maybe 20% close ratio of the ones that
So
you
it keeps
sit
dwindling down and down and down and down.
And then on your in-person close rate, what do you say you do? 60, 70%?
It's more like 80.
80%, okay.
Yeah, and that's just because, I mean, not just because, I know I'm not trying to say that because we're tooting our own horn. It's more a question of, if people are booking an in-person appointment with me, they've just pretty much told me that they want to buy insurance. I mean, if they're allowing me to come and meet with them, they're saying, you know, as long as you don't completely botch our appointment, I'm going to buy insurance. And so I take that as that's a yes before I even get to their house. I'm going in their house to help them figure out which application we're filling out and what fits in their budget. It's not a question of if they're going to get insurance. It's just a question of how much they can afford and what they qualify for.
And
You know-
James is real big on the heart. So he really goes and figures out what their,
Why is.
what their why is.
Yeah, their emotional need, their emotional why.
And
Right.
his whole thing is to make sure that they're taken care of. And whether that's a $10 policy or $200 policy, he always wants to make sure that it fits in their budget and that it's comfortable for them and that they're going to keep it forever, because that's the most important thing. And that's what he goes in thinking all the time, not how much am I going to make or how big of a policy or what, he just goes in with the mindset that he needs to help this family with their particular need and whatever that particular need is. And that's why he's so successful, because he has a big heart, and that's what his whole goal is just to help that family.
I have a big belly too.
You say video adds 10 pounds anyway. So. These are exactly the numbers, dude. Like before COVID, I used to preach 55 to 75% close rate in the home. Your show rate ought to be in that 70%. And if you're better, you're better. Usually it's because you've got more experience that you'll be in the 80% on both, which you are exactly right on. From what I said, I mean, before you came on, I talked about, ratios on in-home versus over the phone. But what I love about you guys is that whatever you have to do, you do. And you just, keep forging forward. So give me an idea of your lead investment every week. You do a lot of different appointments, you door knock, so are you on a GMR for direct mail leads?
Yes.
How many are you trying to get every week on your
We try to
GMR?
get 25. We try to get 25 A leads a week from NAA to our GMR. But that doesn't always work out because some weeks it does and some weeks it doesn't. But we have a consistent investment of $1,000 a week.
Okay.
Like we won't get less than $1,000 worth of leads because you can't book 40 appointments if you're only getting 25 leads.
Right.
So we invest another $300 to $400 in the internet leads that we get. A majority of those through NAA also. They have two different kinds. They have $9 ones and $11 ones. And then we also are signed up for Mail Pro, where we have like an ongoing program with them where we get $200 to $300 a week worth of leads, provided they become available.
And then I also try to get 10 appointments with current clients, either someone who was just with to go back and help them with something else, policy deliveries, annual reviews. So we're going back.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. That's the key.
Say again?
That's the key. The key is a little bit of everything.
Little bit of everything, man.
If you concentrate on one thing and that one thing doesn't work out, then you don't have anything to fall back on. But if you do a little bit of everything, you're going to have a little bit of success here and a little bit of success there. And then it all adds up to a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And your return on investment on $1,000 a week is really huge. When you look at consistency over time, when you hover over good weeks, bad weeks, you're hovering at a high level. Instead of zero bank account hover, you're hovering at $5 whatever grand plus a week, So kind of like I call it the bathtub model, like your flow in is greater than the flow out So your bank account's always at this higher level, than someone who's operating at 0 to negative,
Right.
So, okay, so there's a lot of new people on here. People are wondering, hey, can I really do this? I don't have $1,000 a week. When you guys started, what was probably the most important thing for you? The important things for you to get started and get going? Like, what would you tell yourself back when you got in? What would you tell yourself as far as getting started?
I would probably say that to contact more warm market people, because those are free leads. And there's also, there's a lot of things you can do to generate an income so that you can start investing in leads. If you're serious about creating an income and a success level, you can go knock on doors. I don't know how familiar people are with Primerica, but that's all they do, is they knock on people's doors, and say, we just happen to be in the neighborhood. Are you interested in getting some more information about life insurance or different types of insurance products? And so there's no reason why we can't do that either. So you can go door knocking. You can just pick a neighborhood and knock on the doors. You can open up your contact list in your phone and start calling everybody that you know. To just, not only is it good practice for people to start learning the right questions to ask, but there's also a really good chance that you're going to help a family or 10 with insurance products. And then the commission pays the same, whether they're a family or a friend or a door knock on a stranger, as it is if you purchase a lead, other than the fact that, you're putting in a little bit more effort to find the people. But you could take some of that money that you're making from the commission and invest it in leads to kind of make your job a little bit easier. So there's definitely ways to get started if you don't want to be spending a bunch of money on leads. But then also, it's just a matter of you like having the desire to go out and do what it takes to create the lifestyle that you want. So that's
And there's no such thing as a bad lead.
right.
We were putting leads together for a new agent, and I couldn't read my handwriting, so I called the number just to see if it was the right number, like if it was an 8 or a 6, like I couldn't tell what I had written down. And so the woman, and this is like a 2 or 3 year old lead, and the woman answered the phone, and I was so like, hi. And I wound up booking the appointment for James because I didn't know what else to do other than book it.
Right.
And he went, he helped her. And it was like a 3-year-old
RW.
it was a final expense lead that was 3 years old. It was, because it said 2017. Oh no, it was even older. It was a 2017 benefit.
I love it.
So there's no such thing. I mean, even those old ones, and if we were new, he would go to that one person, and then he would knock. He loved apartment buildings because you get in, and you help that one client, and then you knock on everybody else's door.
Yeah, you can spend the whole day.
And in one building, you can, if there's 100 apartments, you're gonna hit at least 2 people that are gonna get something. So
that's crazy. So what does that sound like when you knock on a door and someone answers the door? What do you say?
I just say, hi, I'm James. I just helped a couple of people in your building, asked me to help them with life insurance. And, I asked them, if there was anyone else that they knew, and they said, yeah, my neighbor over here might want somebody to help them. They might be interested in getting some more information, and just ask them right at the door if they want to go over some of that information with me now, or if they want to schedule an appointment. So it's really not all that difficult if you're willing to do the work.
Absolutely.
And you got to get referrals too. So if you follow the ERS system and you talk to your clients about the ERS system, you should be coming away with 10 ERSs from every client that you meet with. So if you go on 10 appointments, you now have 100 more leads to dial on. So you don't have to pay any money for those. It's just a matter of following the system and doing the work. And then the next day you have 100 brand new leads that didn't cost you anything, that you can start calling on to schedule more appointments.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, I was in the Indianapolis boot camp with Mike and Noel and Megan Wood and all the gang with Andy Albright. So, and I forgot how much I love being around the people, you know. And I was also in Burlington for that boot camp there. And so we've been talking a lot about this. We're calling it an open house, but it's really kind of a function down in Burlington at the NEA headquarters on May 7th and 8th. The main event is on the 8th, but the evening of the 7th, they'll be doing some stuff. Tell us about how important it was for you to get around the people. Like, what did it do for you to go to functions, to get around the people live?
It's a huge difference in terms of the motivation factors, because it helps keep you on track and make sure that you're keeping yourself level, because you know what it's like with this business is a roller coaster, because you're going to have amazing weeks, you're going to have terrible weeks, and you need to kind of stay between the lines, so to speak. So don't get too high and don't get too low, but being around other team members, because everyone's going through something. Some of them are going through massive amounts of success. Some of them are going through massive amounts of struggles. And so being associated with all of our chosen family, people in the alliance that are talking to us about, I had this happen to me last week, and I have this coming up next week, and you get to hear all of the stories, and you realize that everyone's got something going on, whether it's, something good, something bad, everyone's got something, and people are just working through it, whatever they have going on. And so it helps keep me, and I'll let Pam speak for herself, but it helps keep me on an even keel, so that I understand coming back to just concentrating on the work, and then everything else kind of takes care of itself. But it was so awesome. I mean, we were at Treasure Island at the end of January for the national convention.
Yeah.
And considering it's been, God, like a year and a half since we've been able to be with other team members.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing to be face to face and in person with, all of these awesome people that we missed so much, because we've only been able to see them on a Zoom calls and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was really a hell of a motivating factor. And we came back and we were like the Tasmanian Devils. We went out, I think the next week we went 40-40, and then 2 weeks in a row, we wound up writing like $40,000 worth of premium in like 3-week period, because it really gets your wheels spinning. I mean,
It does. It's motivational
to see, and when you think you're killing something, and then you go see Megan Wood, who writes like, she submits 40,000 a week in premium, and you think you're doing awesome at 10 grand a week, and then here comes Megan Wood, and you're like, how awesome are you now? And I'm like, oh man, I got to go out and write 40 grand. So it just keeps the competition is good. It keeps you motivated. It keeps you spinning, and it also keeps you to the point where you want to compete with the other people on the team. So the competition of competing with each other, and kind of like running stuff by each other. Like I have this thing with Sarge. Me and Sarge are always giving each other crap on Facebook, texting each other, whether it's business related or sports related, because he's from Philadelphia,
right.
And I'm a New Yorker, so we're always giving each other stuff.
That's
about
right.
things like that. So it's all good stuff, man. We love everybody that's part of the team and part of the alliance. We haven't met anybody who didn't try to lift us up and keep us, on the right track, and it's just amazing to have that.
Well, I tell you what, man, you guys are, I'm just so proud to have you on our team. And I've been wanting to have you guys on my call for a while. And man, you guys, just so proud of y'all. And I know you're growing. I know you're building a team, and your consistency is amazing. I think there's so many people that can learn from your focus on the work, man. Just focus on the work. You will never go wrong if you focus on the work. And I love how you said that, man. That was great.
Thanks.
So, gang, you heard from one of our top people, and you've heard from our top people. You've heard different ways that they're doing the business, but it all comes down to a lot of common factors. That's having a dream and goal that they're serious about, and then investing themselves in their business, both from a work standpoint, schedule standpoint, and lead standpoint. It's just the formula has been common on these last 4 webinars we've done with top producers, and they're all different. All of them are different. That's what I love about it. All of them are different. But man, James and Pam, you guys rock. I can't wait to see you guys in person. And man, thank you for honoring me to, be on our call and hopefully change someone's life out there. If they just heard half of the stuff you're talking about, they're going to be better for it. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks
Alex.
so much, Alex.
Bye, guys.
We do our best to Ginny.
Okay, absolutely. Y'all, you heard it, man. They're just salt of the earth people. And I just I'm swelling with pride because, man, I'm so blessed to be in a business where we can have this quality of people come on our team and just contribute and pour themselves out to each other. They just want to help you, man. I want to help you. And I am committed to help you, whatever it takes, man. And I hope you guys get that feel, that vibe from a culture. Man, I was in church this morning. I was praying on my knees for every single one of you, that you see the light, the light bulb goes off, man, and that you will get inspired to do something great with your life because God put greatness in you already. Now it's just a matter of you tapping into that, what's already inside, and sometimes you got to, we're going to help you with a machete to cut through all the crap and then realize the awesomeness inside you. Then let's let that go out there and help other people, man. That's what it's all about, man. Being on this earth is all about is pouring out yourself to other people, and then how awesome your life will be as a result. So, man, proud of you guys. Let's get on leaderboard next week. We're going to do the same thing, same bat time, same bat channel, and rock on, man. God bless you all, and I'm here if you need me, when you need me, all the time that you need me. God bless everybody. Take care.